Okay, today I'm working on a Philips 37PF9975. It's a 37-inch high-definition plasma television. And the problem with this set is that it will run for about 10 minutes or so and then rapidly begins buzzing, and a couple more minutes later it will shut down. So what I'm doing right now is I'm measuring the input current going into it using my oscilloscope. I've got a current clamp around the live wire. And I'm also measuring the PFC bus voltage, which is 371 volts. Now, you might notice it's a little unstable. At the moment I believe this is normal. The problem with this set is as it warms up, I'm going to accelerate the process here. But as it warms up, voltage there begins rapidly falling. So it's 355 there. There's 331 there. 332, and that's not enough for it to work. You see the input current has changed. Previously I thought it was those two caps. It turns out I'm wrong. It is a capacitor, in fact it's two capacitors. I've narrowed the cores down to, I've narrowed the cores down to, it's challenging the autofocus on my compact. It's very hard. Anyway, oh, it's just shut down. But anyway, it's two ceramic capacitors. One marked 2673, and there's another one adjacent to it, which I can't read the number one because it's underneath it. But anyway, 2673 and the adjacent two other capacitors, which are causing this fault. Just unplugged it because it's cut out. So if I plug it back in, it will likely just sit there and not be able to start. It sometimes will, but yeah, in this case it's just going. So we got about 340 volt on the PFC bus. It cannot start with that. It needs about, well, ideally it needs 390 volt to work properly, and it might work with 370, but begin showing issues any lower than that, and you'll get more problems. And it's not just the voltage that's important, it's the stability as well. As the PFC stops working, you get increased ripple across these bulk capacitors here, and that increased ripple will cause the VS voltage to about 87 volt, I think, 83 volt on this chassis, and that drives the sustain process of the plasma panel. And the sustain process is basically making it light up. Basically, a plasma panel, you write an image to the screen using the addressing voltage, and then you sustain the panel, making all the pixels that have been written to light up. It's a rather fascinating technology to study, but basically if the sustained voltage drops out, you'll get an error condition. The TV will lock out due to this fault and won't work properly. Other things is some sub-supplies for the main board, and if those go missing it could also have problems. So right now you just basically got a blinking green LED, and the input current measured on the scope is very low. It's a tiny little spike. That's just a standby power consumption. I think on this set it'll be under a watt because it's it's not that old. It's 2006 or something. So what I'll do is I'll freeze spray those capacitors. Okay, so freeze sprayed it, and immediately different input current. And I can't show you because it's upside down at the moment. If you look, let's see, in a second it will do it. Oh no, my DVD player's turned off. If you look through there, you can see the plasma panel is working. The voltage is 373, which isn't quite enough. I'll freeze spray it a bit more, just enough to run the panel. So I can get to 387, which is acceptable. Normal PFC voltage for a TV is 380 to 400 volts. Sometimes a little higher on older ones. I've seen a 420 volt one. So basically, what needs to be replaced is those two capacitors. They're a bit awkward to get to, and I see actually someone's done a repair on this one before, possibly the original Philips repair. They've replaced one of them with a through hole, and I'm going to replace them with surface mount caps because that's how you should do it. It's not that difficult to solder these surface mount caps. It's very odd that they failed. I can't understand why they failed. I've seen it happen before in other sets. They're not short circuit because it slowly occurs. It doesn't occur suddenly. They might be becoming more leaky, but it is rather odd. Also, occasionally we get a clicking sound from the set. I think it's just the heat sinks expanding, or the panel expanding from the power dissipation, because this is an older panel which is very power hungry. It may only be a 37-inch TV, but it's going to use about 300 watts full bright. Just turn it off and try and turn it back on again. Yeah. So replace those two capacitors and this TV should work.